for Observatory. Good morning and thank you. Like Leslie, it's been a number of years since I've been at an EVA meeting, so happy to be back and to be able to share some results. And after the last two kind of tropical and exotic topics, I'm going to actually bring us back to Eastern North America a little bit more. So, McGill Bird Observatory, we have a little overview here. It's in Montreal, and the island of Montreal here, and most of the city is down here, and right over at the tip, and you can see it's a bit more of a green space. This is an overview of the site. Essentially, the red is our census trail that we walk daily. The white nets are the ones we use typically during migration, and all of these others are nets that are for other programs that, just for the sake of time, I won't be dwelling on too much today. To give you a sense of where we fit into the greater scheme of things, this is a somewhat older map of the Canadian Migration Monitoring Network that we were a part of. At the time, we were only a provisional member. We're a full member now, but this is where we are in relation to the others down there. So there's quite a concentration in southern Ontario, but within Quebec, there's only 2 sites ourselves, and one a few hours downstream at Tadoussac. Just a little overview of what our facilities look like. We have a little landing cabin and an outdoor area, that little windmill. This is an old research site that was part of McGill University that we occupied it with squatters, and 12 years later they're still accepting of us. Little abandoned cabin inside that is our not so fancy but very functional base of operations. And it's a mix of habitat on site, so we have a wetland here that on the left is, as you can see, drying up a little bit because we had a cattail invasion back when Ducks Unlimited built it in the mid-80s or so. It was a very open pond, and even in our early years of operation we had piebald grebes and things like that nesting, but it's proven to be a challenge to maintain that sort of habitat. A lot of the rest of it is kind of early succession. We have buckthorn and lovely things like that, but it is what the site is, and we're trying to maintain it. Our nets are in a variety of settings. We have some that are in sumac groves, some that are in kind of cottonwood forest edge, and others that are in among shrubs in the old pasture setting. We operate throughout the year. It's primarily a spring and fall season that's our focus. So 10 weeks in spring. We're, believe it or not, into our 2nd week of spring now, even though it doesn't feel much like it. But recognizing that, especially up there, we do tend to get some snow early in the season. The banding season is actually only 45 days, and we won't kick into that for another week and a bit. We do a MAPS program in summer. Summer is only 8 weeks, that's the Canadian reality. And then we have 13 weeks of fall, which we're actually now expanding to 14 weeks, just as a recognition of how timing of things is evolving. Within that, we have a saw-whet owl season as well for 6 weeks, and then a nice long 21-week winter. So we just recently, well, I guess it's 2 years now, got to the end of our first 10 years and decided to do a fairly thorough summary of what our data were over those years. It's this nice little light volume that I have up here. If anyone wants to browse through it later, feel free to come and take a look. What we've done essentially is summarize a bunch of things, but a big part of this is these detailed species appendices. So for all of the 210 species we've seen on site, we have an overview like this. Not a lot of them are as densely populated as American goldfinch, which is there year-round. But essentially we show for the spring and fall seasons the first and last dates of occurrence every year. In this case, it spans the entire 91-day fall season every year. We have the high count every season, the total number of individuals reported. And then here, these are our mean counts per day for each week, with the red number showing the peak of where it was every year. So you can see it fluctuates around for goldfinches that some years they don't peak until the end of spring. More often, it's kind of around the middle of the season, which is first, second couple of weeks of May. So we did that for all species. And for those 119 species, I think, that we banded, we have a similar summary table for numbers banded by week in each season, with season totals and means, and a little bit of a blurb kind of summarizing the species. Over that 10-year period, with a few stats. We have over 40,000 volunteer hours and made it all possible, so it's certainly a big undertaking. 1,600 plus days of migration monitoring, almost 52,000 birds banded. 26 species of warblers are our biggest group between the species that mentioned. So, getting into the summary results, out of those 10 years, we had 8,400 birds roughly banded in spring, and almost 39,000 in fall, and that's really the big part of it. Summer maps banding, for those of you who are familiar with it, it's not a tremendous volume. We only started maps in 2009, so we only had 6 years of that to summarize. Over 1,000 saw-whets in 8 years, and almost 3,000 birds over 8 years of winter banding as well. But for the most part, I'll be focusing on spring and fall, since those are the most standardized programs we do and the largest. To give you a sense of what sort of numbers we're looking at, in spring, the diversity rises pretty steadily from late March until peaking right around the middle of May. And for a while there, on average, we get about 60 species on site per day. It's pretty much an inland site. We kind of consider it background noise. We're not like Long Point or Cape May or these places that really funnel the birds. This is just kind of natural movement across a broad front through southern Quebec. You can see how at the end of May it drops off pretty quickly. We're left with somewhere in the order of 35 to 40 resident breeding species on site. In fall, it's a little bit different. It's a much more prolonged season, and from the beginning of August through to early, sometimes mid-October, we hover around that 40, 45 species mark. But of course, there's a lot of turnover along the way as the different species move through. These are the 6 species we've banded most over the years. Yellow-rumped warbler by far is out in the lead, and you'll see shortly why that is. White-throated sparrow and ruby-crowned kinglet are the next tier, and they have 3 other species that are very similar numbers over the years: robins, song sparrows, and junglers. So the rest of the presentation, I want to focus on 4 themes that we've seen emerging from our, I guess, preliminary summaries. And that's some population increases, some decreases, some fluctuations, and I think, in a sense, the most interesting one is some of the changes in phenology that we're beginning to notice after just such a short period. So Tennessee warbler is one of the showcase species in the East, and if we look at our spring and fall data over the course of 10 years, there's a pretty notable increase overall. Now, there's certainly fluctuations from year to year in there. That's common for a lot of birds. What we're seeing here of this beastie, the spruce butterworm, which has historically been quite a key source for a number of warbler species, key food source, and the populations fluctuated accordingly. The last few years, this is a map from 2013 from Quebec of the latest spruce butterworm outbreak, and you can see there's a very dense outbreak here, and we're down here. Some of the studies we're doing are showing using stable isotope analysis where our birds are coming from. We certainly have some birds from the Western Canadian boreal, but a lot do come from Quebec and Labrador, and they're not crossing the Gulf of St. Lawrence, kind of moving along southwest until they have a place to go south. So we're getting part of this pulse, it seems, from the spruce butterworm. Similarly, Cape May warbler is perhaps the most famous spruce butterworm associated bird. And again, we're getting pulses of increases that are reflecting the change that's happening in the northeast. We have other species that are increasing where it's a little bit less apparent. Water thrush being one of those. It's a somewhat more subtle increase than the others. At the same time, it's more stable. It's, aside from that real peak in fall 2010, it's not been fluctuating as much. We don't know what's behind this. The interesting thing is that the spring and fall patterns are aligned. So at this point, it's a pattern that we see and can generate hypotheses about, but haven't really got any good ideas to go on. Maybe some of you do. On the other side, of course, as population decreases, we know that the reality is that there's, in general, more species decreasing than increasing. The aerial insectivores are a big part of that. Forestry is one of the showcase species there. The graph here is basically showing the plot from each of our 10 years of spring migration. And generally speaking, the early years we've got marked in green and blue, and the later years are kind of in orange and red. And you can see how throughout the season, in more recent years, the numbers have stayed low, whereas the early seasons, they were quite high. Maybe a little bit of habitat succession, but we've still got the same number of tree swallow boxes on site. Habitat is suitable in principle, we're just not seeing them come back. And it's consistent with a lot of other results in the region, unfortunately. Rose-crested grosbeak wasn't something that really hit us until we started looking at 10 years of data in detail. But we've got pretty sharp declines there. In this case, the DET, or the daily estimated total, that's a factor of the birds banded and observed on site throughout the day. And that's declined a fair bit, but the number banded is what's really gone down. This is in spring. Part of the reason it may be lower is that the DET includes perhaps a breeding pair that sticks around, gets seen every day, and gets reported. Of course, you can only band it once. But those last 2 years, we didn't band a single rose-crested grosbeak in spring, compared to the early years where it was close to 10. Again, don't really know what's going on, and be interested if others are observing a similar sort of pattern. Because again, we're kind of at this background observation. And the house sparrows, which I know is most people's not favorite concern, but it's a pattern in its own right. And here I think what illustrates it best is just a page from our summary, where you can see that over the first 5 years, 2005 to 2009, we were seeing them, well, at least in the first 4 years, we're seeing them on a good percentage of days throughout the season. And in the last 5 years, they've essentially been absent. Again, there's no good reason for this that we can see locally. We have a residential community within a kilometer of us, and nothing's changed there, but the species pretty much disappeared in the local area. And regardless of what anyone thinks of house sparrows, for a species that's that adaptable and such a survivor overall to be increasing that rapidly, seems like a little bit of a warning sign to. So yellow-winged warblers, I mentioned earlier, we're going to come back to them, and this is really where they show up in the population fluctuation. This shows our fall results over the years, and you can see that we had this 1 year, 2010, where the peak was just so much higher than any other year. What this means is that in the 9th week of fall, which is September 26th to October 2nd, during that week we were averaging 300 birds per day seen on site. And we banded, I think, 1,170 that week. So, 150 plus per day. You can see there were a couple of other years that were relatively, if we look at it in this way, you can see better that in 2006 there was a spike, in 2008 there was a higher peak, in 2010 it really peaked. And in the intervening years, the numbers were almost the same, especially in terms of the banding results. Over these 4 years, the odd years we averaged 108, and the even years over 500, well over 500. Peak year was 2,359. 2012, of course, we were excited, thinking, well, my goodness, if we banded almost 2,400 in 2010, we're going to hit the 3,000 mark. And well, it went down notably around 300 that year. But there was still that 2-year cycle going on. And what's behind that, again, is kind of an unknown. The blue line shows the spring numbers that weren't really in sync, except that in 2011 it followed that peak. In other years it didn't really correlate, so there may be a difference between fall and spring migration. Blue jays, they're more migrants than some guys. Again, a very nice 2-year cycle, and in this case the banding results are actually showing that a little bit more clearly than just the general observations. Hermit thrushes as well are fluctuating. Swainson's to some degree. It's not always a 2-year cycle with them, but it's distinct up and down, and very, very much a sort of 2-level thing. In the years where they're lower, we're always banding, in the 25 to 30 range. In the years that they're higher, it's always in that 80 to 90 range. Nothing seems to be in between. So something is causing them to fluctuate up and down like that. And then we have more erratic species. Finches, of course, are known for that. Finch, fairly steady over the years, and then in this one year in 2012, we just had far more than ever. There was a dip mid-season and then another wave coming through. So this standardized monitoring throughout the fall, you can actually see these pulses of movement and perhaps parcel out different populations that are moving in a way that more casual observations would tend to get. Go back to this slide for a second. You can see that overall, over 10 years, it's advanced to the 5th week. And what we think may be happening is that because we're getting birds from the northwest and from the northeast, those northwestern birds may be taking longer to get from Northwest Territories and northern Alberta to southern Quebec, and those might be later birds. Now with that population boom in Quebec that's really driving our overall numbers, and they're much closer to us, they may be coming through earlier and resulting in this pattern that the overall peak is coming sooner. The even more interesting ones, I think, are the red start and magnolia ones. The red start, again, there's a lot of noise when you look at it that way. Different way of looking at it is in terms of our weekly charts. So you can see the red shows the peak level in terms of mean number per day, and how we kind of look at it overall with a gradual shifting earlier over the course of those 10 years. Magnolia warbler is the one that we pair with that, and it's the opposite sort of pattern where we started here and gradually that peak has been drifting a little bit later. And to really illustrate that, we can look at the two graphs side by side and see that the pale blue is the mean of our first 3 years, and the pattern for both species was fairly similar. They peaked in the 4th week of fall, which is essentially the last week of August, and then tapered off quite noticeably after that. But in the years since, the middle blue is 2008 to 2011, and the dark blue the most recent 3 years. The magnolia warbler has gotten later, shifted 2 weeks and another week, and then the red start instead has shifted earlier by 1 week and earlier by another week. So these two species that 10 years ago were peaking at the same time in late August are now about 5 weeks apart in their peak migration. One species moving earlier and one species moving later. Just because I can't not acknowledge the Sahlwitz and their role in all of this, because they were what really prompted the establishment of this. Just a quick nod to the migratory connectivity data that we get out as well. And, we've had over the 1,000 or so that we've banded, we've had 33 of the owls we captured. The green marks show the same year recaptures, and the yellow in subsequent years. And you can see there's a fair pattern, especially in the same year, that essentially they're coming south, passing by the Adirondacks, and moving down along the Appalachians, where a lot of the monitoring is, but occasionally went out to the side. And then in subsequent years, what these flags are showing us is that they're following a different migration pattern that year. Maybe they're breeding in a different location, and that's accounting for them. Instead of heading down here to hit Lake Ontario, they start drifting down that way. And correspondingly, we have the birds that we've recaptured at MDO have come from these locations, and again, it shows the intense level of banding effort here, and that mostly it's these birds that are coming up north and that we're getting in subsequent years, but we're also pulling somewhat from a broader Great Lakes pool. So looking ahead, we're planning to continue this. We think we've got some interesting results after 10 years, but it'll be better after 15 or 20. We're starting to partner with the MODIS project this year. The student will be talking more about that program in the afternoon. And really what we want to do is get more into the analysis and publication of the results and collaborating with others. We realize the benefits of that. So yes, distinct patterns have emerged quickly. And I would urge anyone else who's been doing this for 10 years or more to really look at that, because I think you'll be surprised at what we find. We understand what's behind some of it. We don't understand what's behind most. We'd like to explore that more, and really expanding both the temporal and spatial scope of that is where we need to go. These are our key funders, and I think in the interest of not interfering with coffee break, I'll probably take comments and questions whenever you like through the rest of them.
Your spruce buck